In a flat up in Chicago with a keyboard and some tea lives a man with a funnel plan as clever as can be. He ditched his law degree for plugins that go zing. Now WooCommerce dances every time he pulls a string. Hey, evil genius.
There it is. Okay, a little bit slow on the draw today. Good morning, it's Spence. It's Friday, February 20th, 2006. We are here for my office hours. Today, the topic is a continuation of where we left off last week, where, boy, has it been an amazingly busy week in a good way for real-life client interactions, referrals, new clients. I'm going to adjust my camera here. But basically, all of the things that bring the rubber to the road with regard to using MinuteLaunch, not only just for traditional WordPress-related things, but quite frankly, most of my new clients this week and prospective conversations that I think you guys would be interested in have to do with clients that are using traditional SaaS software that has been absolutely put on notice. I want to say decimated, but decimated will be next week. Thank you, by the way, Lloyd, for the voice check. You saved me the trouble for asking and for being here too. Let me start with the conversation of this. I was reading in the Wall Street Journal, New York Times, online edition, by the way. Also, tip for the wise. If you subscribe to them, fantastic. If you just want to read the stories, if you use Apple and you go to the New York Times and you just click on your browser in the reader tool, the reader tool has all of the summary of what the context is, which I think is only fair. I get kind of annoyed by the paywall where you can only read the title and then that's it. But I was reading basically that SaaS software is going to be decimated. Absolutely decimated this year. And let me set up the reason why. And then I'm going to talk about it in terms of, hey, guess what? You guys have a solution. You have the same thing to offer that I have to offer. You can be the implementer for this for your clients. Here's the scenario. There's a bunch of different verticals that one can imagine. Let's start with the construction industry. The construction industry I was in for, I want to say from 1994 until 2014. So I'm going to call it 20. What is that? It's a 14 plus 6, 20 years, call it. I think I was in there more, but it seems like it was more. But in any event, let's call it 20 solid years. In the 20 solid years, there's a number of products that came out that helped with managing construction projects, crew, scheduling, billing, materials, receivables, when you would have to do bank reports to get your draws. All of those things grew into an industry of SaaS products. Now, that combined with things like architectural planning, 3D views, befores and afters. I'm just throwing a bunch of stuff out here because we're going to cover this today, and you're going to be like, what? So when we used those softwares, these companies came out, and think of like QuickBooks from, it used to be Intuit, now it's owned by somebody else, that these were things that required lots and lots of manual labor, typing, and all kinds of stuff, were written by human beings at a time when software was licensed, when software was expensive. So for example, I have a client today that we're using some construction tools that I used to know about. Builder estimation and planning, organizing schedules, paying out to vendors, doing planning, visual planning, 3D layouts, all of these things, including tying them together to a CRM. His company in particular was probably on the hook for $1,000 a month just for that. Then you had the overhead and costs of the things like with the CRM. They would, good morning. They would ask for more money if you had more contacts. They would ask for more money if, for example, you just wanted to access, even if they had one, an API. So I was speaking to this client and asking him, I met him at one of these meetups, about what it is that he was really experiencing his pain points. And just looking at the software itself right out of the box, the software itself, he said something to me in our meeting that, quote, was like, this software is a pile of crap, but it's my pile of crap, and I know how to use this pile of crap. So when I use it, I understand there's hours and hours of wasted time, but I'm so used to using it that that's my predicament. It's hard for me to give up, like Marie Kondo, this piece of crap, even though I know how bad it is. But I think the deciding factor was when I showed him all of the things that could be done instantly and easily. And I also explained to him that when I spoke to the vendors themselves, I called them up on the phone. Like, they wouldn't do it on the web. I had to talk to a person, almost like a school monitor. Who are you? What are you? What do you want to know? What do you want to? Who do you know? Who sent you? It's like one of those speakeasy slots. Like, who sent you? Hey, how much does it cost for me to get access to the API? $13,000 a year prepaid up front for one of these vendors. So what happened with that particular client? And I'm about to sneeze, I can tell. I'm back. With that particular client, when I had a conversation with the dudes, we ultimately decided, what the heck? Let's go full. Let's just go all the way and replace that software itself. So giving a preset, because I'm going to do these industries and I'm going to show you the examples. About 3 products, minimum cost $1,000 a month. One of them $13,000 a year prepaid, just for the privilege of accessing their piece of shit API, because the API was built back in the day. It's not a modern MCP. Tens of thousands of dollars of money being spent. How much in lost time for this client? Who knows? The client decided to go with me. I built on spec. Remember, I talked to you. I built on spec this solution. I showed the client. He's like, you had me at hello. And now the process, which I'll talk about more in another episode, but I'll talk about a little today, is how does the client interact with the thing? Okay, next client, the home away business. This client, very smart entrepreneur, was already keen and understood. She understood vibe coding. She was coming at me with some Replit stuff, but there was nothing off the shelf in her industry for this business solution that she has. There was similar stuff, but they were hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars of developer costs. And if you did use some of the off-the-shelf components, when you piece them together, they would end up similarly being SaaS solutions that were owned and controlled by somebody other than her, that could not be vibe coded into what we're talking about. And the net result was that she was going to have consequentially different development costs and time. And also, she would not really own the IP. She would always be just a tenant on somebody else's property. So with her, we actually made the progress. She jumped in several weeks ago. And yesterday we did the interaction with Bernardo and her thing. And it was like mind blown, custom interface, all these features thrown in. I'm going to explain how this is working. Third client, my most productive. And this one, I actually have a business interest in a sideline with this client, who's a friend of mine for 30 years, the video deposition business. He dove in full-fledged. He was spending at least a couple thousand a month on the software that had not been changed since the 90s, believe it or not. We custom built an entire scheduling, billing, invoicing, team management solution, in addition to the actual secondary business, which has to do with transcribing video depositions and giving them to the clients for what they're going to use them for the purposes of discovery and trial. But just on the client deposition scheduling stuff, overwhelmed, overjoyed, thrilled beyond belief would not describe what this particular client's feeling. He's already started using it immediately. Now, he did participate very, very actively with how we're going to make it bespoke for him. I have 2 other industries. I have another one of our audience members here who's in the pickleball industry, for whom we're going to be doing a joint venture. I created a pickleball solution that I think will turn into a more global thing. Similar. We both, this is Kathleen, I can say, we both play pickleball, love pickleball, and have this one pain point that needed to be solved in addition to others. I said, Kathleen, I am going to go in business with you. You have access and interest in peddling this thing to all these people. I have an interest in just developing it and using it. Let me create this solution. Fifth one, I'm not sure if I'm going to show you all of the details of this one, But I have a new one that involves a client of mine from the past, but it's really my solution that has to do with one of my pastimes, which is I'm a very happily single dad of 3 sons that I date. And from my experience, years and years and years of marketing and dating experience have made me very comfortable with, meeting new people. That is not true for a lot of fellas or a lot of women. And so one of my clients is a very healthy business giving dating advice to men. She makes, I would say now, in the mid 7 figures and has 1.5 million followers. Her particular advice combined with this application is a solution that would make it easy for men to have her advice specifically in their pocket when they're interacting. John Lawler might pipe in. John's here today. John is working on similar solutions. So all of these have one thing in common. They all have an element of taking existing SaaS software that is like a monolith, that is like a concrete wall, that is like a bedrock quarry, or that's not even right, a quarry of granite, bedrock, and making them fluid and dynamic and easily modified. And when you take the actual pain points and you consider how vibe coding with the MinuteLaunch system is relatively easy, my guys are sophisticated enough to turn them into things. And then you combine it with some of the tools. Like I'm also going to talk to you about the remodeler solution. I'm going to talk to you for John, who is asking nicely, what's new? We got the remodeler solution I'm going to introduce today. We've got the MinuteLaunch Research solution, updates on the MinuteLaunch Claw and the interface, because that is my priority this weekend. But all of these things are tools that can be implemented as part and parcel along with the dashboards of these custom things that replace what customers would have otherwise been doing in the past. And so you can technically and feasibly actually deliver solutions for yourself or others that replace all of these tools. Okay, that was a long introduction. I'm going to let's get on with it already. And I've got a lot of rando show and tell. So what I'm going to do today is I'm going to play my wild card out. And I'm going to switch screens over to the browser. And if I need to, I'll show the dudes, but I'm going to try to do it without showing the dudes today unless I need to. Okay, StreamYard, getting better, but I still need to figure out how to share just the window. I'm going to share this window. Okay, and I'm going to scale this so that it works, and then we'll get on with the show. I think that's pretty good. And what's nice is if I do it this way, I can actually look at the screen, and I don't have to hide StreamYard on my other browser, or my other window, I mean. So everybody's going to be happy. Okay, fantastic. I love this. All right. I don't know where to start. So I'm going to start with, by the way, I'm going to rando click. Let's start here. This is a solution that I created for, I mentioned this because I want you guys to understand I'm not full of shit. This is for Michelangelo, who I met at a meetup using the actual MinuteLaunch. I was using the simple site and the mobile version at the time. In the meetup, I get together, my friend Harry Maisel has these meetups, and when I was given the presentation, I was able to basically show some folks what I was doing. And Michelangelo, who actually lives in my old neighborhood, rose his hand. He's like, I don't know what you're doing exactly, but I know it's what I need. And we had a call, and I told you about it last week. We followed up, and he's on board with this idea. What happened here, and I want to make sure I'm zoomed in at, let's say, 100%. His company's Hudson. I was able to use what I want to describe for you here is dashboard. And I noticed too, by the way, I'm going to do this because when I'm looking on my normal videos, I look to the left and I see the left. But if I'm going to do it this way, I go here. Okay. So what you're looking at here is the dashboard that we put together for him. And there's a couple key elements. One of the things I want you to understand, and if you can see this, you'll appreciate it. What we've got on the left side is, notice there's nothing other than his business stuff on the back end. Now, I'm actually going to also hide the top bar, but what I did is I created a component, and I'm not trying to get granular. I created a dashboard that has universal capabilities for all my client situations, and you guys will be able to share in this just by asking for it from your dudes. Notice the focus mode turns on and off all the other WordPress junk. It's more apparent when I go like this. If I go in focus mode, it just gets rid of all the junk. Now, I thought this was a clever metaphor for giving on the back end an experience to a user without punishing them for whatever WordPress stuff they still need to use, but giving them an immediate focus ability. And again, the top bar will be the same way. The idea was this allows me to have whatever custom stuff I need. But even then, wouldn't it be more useful, as you can see here, if everybody was given a dashboard that give them what they want, when they want it, in the place they need it? So for example, if you've got all the projects or the estimates, if everything has breadcrumbs and it's built together, he can literally, and by the way, I also put in sample data as part of what I built for him. He can navigate, notice, back and forth to anything he's trying to do, right? Estimates, go to estimates, you can come back. It's really common sense. It also allowed me to build him his own custom documentation, toggled or not. So I asked the dudes, could you please take the highest and best features and actually give his team exactly step-by-step what to do with what you just built? It seems common sense, doesn't it? But this is the outcome now of using, and by the way, it's relevant. I used Opus 4.6. Never once did I swear at it, which is remarkable. Notice I also included an AI assistant so that somebody could quite literally have, by turning in this case with the open router key, let's put one in, they could literally have the assistant do the hands-on help, which I cannot tell you how useful this is. I can use DeepSeek or a cheap one like Gemini. That's the point. It doesn't have to be fancy, because all the assistant is going to be doing is to be helping with the docs, right? So ask an AI assistant, right? And you just go, hey, how do I go ahead and add in a new project? Okay. Having this kind of help built into the documentation, just think about how ridiculously obvious this is. I want to pause for a second. I've got a customer, and I'm going to show you the tools he was using. He was using $1,000 of vintage stuff that if you hoped and prayed to know how to use, his quote was, "It's the crappiest thing ever, but it's my crap." I was able, in a matter of hours, to put together for him something that replaces not only the crappy software with something he owns and controls, but has a built-in assistant to tell him step by step what to do in the actual product itself. And Spence wrote not a single line of this code. You can do this for your customers. So takeaway one, the dashboard elements I'm showing you here, and I'm going to show you 3 other ones, are all part of what I am conceiving as this MinuteLaunch system, because now we can replace all of the software coded with our WordPress things under the hood and give clients this crazy dashboard experience. Just to bounce back, for example, if I go over here to my other business idea, the one I mentioned, the Pickleball one, PickleDraft, notice the similarity in the dashboard components with things that if you needed to do them on the back end would be available. In this particular case, I didn't customize the header because I am working on the branding and stuff, but look what happens when you go to the front end. This is a mobile first application. It's not designed to be a back end thing. It's designed to be used on the front end, right? Find players for my game really quickly. Send out invites, right? Like these are the purposes of this. It's supposed to act like a mobile app on the front, which it does. But the important part about it is the back end still has the same componentry. Let me show you a couple other things before I bail on this project. I gave the ability to add sample data. Why? Well, by putting sample data in and giving a settings menu that allows us to manage it, as well as integrating this with, you'll notice, Fluent CRM and WooCommerce, what I was able to do is take a couple of the key components that we know we are absolutely going to continue using. We are absolutely going to be using WooCommerce, or in some cases, Fluent Cart. We need a transactional engine. We need the invoicing. We need the capabilities that are already built into that world. What we do not need at all is we do not need for invoicing to work with WooCommerce directly. We just need to create the invoices from a project, and then it uses WooCommerce, if you follow my drift. So for example, I haven't worked with this one. I'm going to show you the video in Stanter. If I go to a project and I want to generate an invoice, it's going to generate, hello, a WooCommerce invoice. But notice, especially if I have it collapsed, we don't need to see or interact with WooCommerce. The dudes aren't doing anything. We're just leveraging WooCommerce. And then if one goes back and uses the rest of the components and I save the project, I've got the financials in the actual project. I've got the costs. I've got the actual invoice, but it's using WooCommerce. Similarly, let's go to, I have to find these by rolling my mouse over. Let's go to, I'm going to have to open it like this. Let's see. Hold on. I'm going to go to Kathleen's site. This is the, Lloyd's asking, am I supposing that you can access the back end of the mobile app you just showed from anywhere? Yes. You can. Here's another thing. I'm going to get into the details of these things because I have so many things to share with you. All of the solutions I'm building work perfectly on mobile. The dashboards that I show you are mobile dashboards. So just to prove a point, and then I'm going to come back to here. If I go to, let's say I'm looking here on what I was just showing you, the Hudson. If I go into mobile, it's mobile responsive by design, right? If I actually go and look at the invoice and click on it, it's going to be mobile because, you know, WordPress, WooCommerce, they're already mobile anyway. That's the whole point. The entire procedure of going back and forth or looking at a project or even the docs, everything is designed to be mobile friendly. And I'm going to show you some other things that are going to whiz bang you. But what the takeaway should be for you guys, and I'm going to go into, is imagine how much better an experience is for a customer. If I'm handing to you, which I literally am, all of the high-end AI tools, the AI connectivity, the WordPress core, all of the traditional software, whatever we may still use, it could be WooCommerce, could be Fluent CRM, all of the design elements, the ability to give a dashboard, all the mobile friendly. You've got all the rough building blocks to build anything for anybody. And Lloyd, we've discussed this at length in your business involving things like security and so forth. This is crazy town level of capability. So what I'm saying to you is I've extended this into an entire IKEA store of stuff to build whatever you need to with some voice prompts. Because my guys, and by the way, let's not forget, my guys are still, I don't want to tell you too fast. This is my secret. I'm going to show you in a second. But my guys like MinuteLaunch Claw or whatever, they're obviously already mobile friendly. So imagine the situation when you're able to, here's my new notifications area, when you're able to build stuff for yourself or a client, and let's say you're building client stuff for yourself for them to pay you. If your client jobs are coming back to your phone telling you, hey, that new thing I'm building for XYZ client is done and I can preview it, it's going to be pretty crazy, isn't it? Well, guess what? It's already here. It's just Spence needs to tweak some things. But what I'm trying to suggest to you is that I am living the dream of creating the projects, creating the interface to make all of this work so that you can quite literally build stuff and sell it for tens of thousands of dollars instantly. Because one of the best things about this, by the way, and I love playing with this new interface because this is the Claw task manager, but interacting with the Simplify. One of the best things about all of this stuff is that when I've had these meetings, like I just got hired, I think, by a new client yesterday. I met with their whole team. I am able to go in and go, literally, here's what I need you to do. List out all the software you're using. How much do you pay? Why do you pay it? What do you do with it? Why do you do it? I have a meeting with them. It records it in Fathom. I take that data, I pour it into the top of the dudes, and I go, here's what we got. We have all of these tools. I'm going to show you again in a second. We have the dashboard. We have you able to research what is the cost proposition, the value proposition of all these other, what would it be if the client kept using that versus something new? I'm able to have the guy build the whole entire thing, and then using MinuteLaunch Claw, which again, not perfect yet, MinuteLaunch Claw can manage my relationship with the build out. And you can see with the notifications, like tell me when the stuff he's doing is fixed, right? Or done or whatever. You research this, do that, etc. Okay. So back to this, because I just want to ramp up a couple iterations. With the Hudson project, this interface, custom branded, replacing the software, instant win. The client said to me, he said, actually asked me, what is a tool I can use to record hours of video showing me walking through my workflow so I can share with you? And I recommended to him loom.com, which, by the way, I've used extensively, have been using for years. I love it. It does have some limits, but it's incredibly awesome for a couple things. First of all, in the past, when I do this, this is what I use for my customers to show them how to do stuff. So if, for example, here's my client, Steve Goldstein. If I wanted to show Steve Goldstein how to navigate Elementor, this, by the way, is torture. Loom has these incredibly powerful features that are in the free version even, that allow me to take the video and not only give them a summary, which I can edit with links and all the rest, but also use AI to fix the video, but then I can create what I wish to give to Steve. Like if I wanted to create an SOP, right, standard operating procedure for him, it takes the whole video and it just breaks it out for me. I don't have to do any of this. This is the world we're in. Like key steps, log into WordPress, understand Elementor, editing the about page. Like all this shit is done for me. I just send this to Steve along with the video. I can choose who gets to see it. I can go to the transcript, and if there's weird stuff, I can edit it, but I can also download that and give it to my dudes. I can do a bunch of other stuff, including they have editorial stuff like stylized captions on top. I can make it into shorts. So if you give somebody a Loom, they can turn it on and just record themselves. Hey, John Lawler. Hey, Lloyd Heath. Here's what I do. This is a pain in the ass. And why? And it's just working on both Mac and PC. And then I've got this great library of, God knows if I'm going to get an award from these guys, but like I have 1,795 Loom videos. So one of the things that I think you should take away from all of this is, what is Spence selling? Spence is selling him, but I'm selling, and I had to tell this folks yesterday in the meeting. They're like, we've been using American Eagle. It sucks. A Tangerine, disaster. How are you going to be different? I said, I am the concierge at the desk at the Four Seasons. I have 1,000 robot tools now that do everything I need for you instantly. I used to have 12 humans, then 1 human. Now I got an unlimited number of dudes. And here's what I do. I sit with you, talk with you, listen to you, show you, get from you, and I translate that into my Willy Wonka factory dudes. And so do my audience. That's what you guys are going to do. And it's remarkable. It's remarkable having the components. So Loom is the mechanism that is useful for any of your clients for free, otherwise to give it. All right, let me show you. I want to show you a couple of show and tells. I wanted to show you Kathleen's thing. So Kathleen has this away services, and I am really excited about this. Notice the commonality here. Notice the focus mode there. With the focus mode, look what we did, because I learned from Hudson Group. Notice with the focus mode, we're getting rid of the top as well. Okay. And this just makes it so much easier for a customer, for a client. In focus mode or otherwise, she has properties. The properties are vacation homes that need service providers. So we have service providers, property owners. We are able to build in the information we need about the maps. We're able to build in this one. I was really amazed how awesome it is. When you have a home, you need to add equipment. When you need to add equipment, wouldn't it be cool? I do notice a bug in this one view. Wouldn't it be cool if when you added in equipment, it already knew the kinds of equipment you might need to add? Well, all I had to do was tell the dude, here's a list of all the things that we typically track, like a refrigerator. First of all, that's going to be electric, but it already knows things like where would it be located? Here's a list of all the manufacturers of refrigerators. Let me see if the modals show up when I show the screen. It's unfortunate when I'm in the sharing mode, you can't see the drop downs, but trust me, like if I go to Sub-Zero, it works. I don't know why that's so weird. This sharing mode doesn't share modal windows. That's just unusual. But you can see when I change it, it's got all of the major brands in there. So I'm not going to just go into exorbitant detail because I want to show you other stuff. But the point is, you can see a common thread here. I was able to build a dashboard that has all the various components that are really, 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 really high end. And this is a back end experience. So all the normal WordPress administrative stuff applies. But we've asked the dude to essentially give us the tools on the back end. Look, I'm going to verify Tom Tester. I've got all the tools on the back end to give what would have otherwise been a custom software experience. Then I'm able to merge it with, like you've seen, AI assistants inside of all of these. So now we've got an AI assistant who can, I'm not going to give away all of the secrets, but let's say for equipment tracking, how cool would it be if you just give to the service provider a mobile app and he or she just goes around taking pictures of all the labels on the equipment? And guess what happens then? Can you guess? Just click, 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 and it just goes and gets all of the equipment and all the warranty information, all the service manuals. It gets everything necessary for managing the house all in one application. Really, really obvious, but nobody is doing that yet. What we're talking about now, by the way, and this is worth mentioning, I don't think I'm going to go out this weekend even, because I have so many things to launch and build to sell. We are in that armpit curve, like Lloyd. I know you're doing your best there, Tiger, but like we are in the armpit curve. Just go out to customers and sell the stuff, because when you show it to them, they're like, take my money, please. This armpit curve is because there is a gap between the SaaS world we live in and the new way of building stuff. The things I'm showing you here, this equipment tracking thing for Kathleen, she's on the same page. She and I did this interaction. She was amazed. She said to me something along, I mean, I love her personally too, but like she said something, I can't believe I was with you for 4 hours today or 3 hours today, and I didn't get bored once, because it's so easy and interactive for the customer to just get what they want in the screen while you're talking to the dudes. And this process makes it possible for them to get hundreds of thousands of dollars of custom software value, let alone what they would save down the road. And so it's just a remarkable experience in general. But if you wait, I'm not saying the world's going to go away. I'm saying everybody's going to be doing this. This is it. I'm giving you the armpit curve head start, and I'm doing it selfishly because this was my mission. My mission, it seems, after 20 years, 45 years as an entrepreneur, was to be right here, right now, at this time with my excitement about things like this and my ability to figure it out. And so beg, borrow, steal, get a credit card, go to a client, have them put the money up, become a VIP, get a hold of this stuff. Because once we start doing these things, you're going to be cranking these out yourself. These are things that can just off the shelf be utilized as the basis for something else. So again, this business, fascinating, amazing. Let's do the video in Stanter because this one is like my pièce de résistance. So I've shown you this a few times now, but we have three things. We've got the deposition editor, which takes an incredibly expensive, time-consuming human process and turns it into something remarkably simple, amazing, and awesome, where we're able to take Zoom video depositions or live depositions and turn them into actual real life, ready to go, perfect 99.97% depositions for use in court. We've got the client dashboard that allows the clients to do all the heavy work with the depositions for impeachment, for discovery, for research, for case law, for exhibits, for analysis. And we've got the dep scheduler, which is really the part that got Steve, my client, more excited than anything else, because he was able to replace, he has many, many employees, this incredibly clunky set of tools. Now notice we've got things in here that are mind-blowing, but it's similar in the look and feel, right? This metaphor works. He's got his jobs and all the parties and the billing, and we're just like making up stuff here, but like these are real case things combined with whatever. Every bit of running his business can be done from here, including notifications like one of the team members' notary is expiring, or when a turn-in comes because they've just got a job. There's procedures built in here to notify what's happening. This does the follow-up with the billing, the invoicing, the upsell. All of the things of the business can be run from here. And yes, under the hood, WooCommerce, Fluent CRM, all of the marketing automation, the other AI tools, if we needed it for marketing, for sales, they're all there. Okay. Now for Spence's dating life. Well, first, let me just go back to the pickleball thing, because the pickleball thing is, this to me is really a big deal. Kathleen, we have to have a call on this, but like Kathleen and I talked about this, and I told her that I'm going to develop it because we're going to collaborate on this one. And this is to you guys too. If you have a genius idea, I'm going to turn off the launch code thing because it's in the way. If you have a genius idea, bring it to me. And if it's a big enough market, if you got access to enough people, I will build it and they will come. This is something that I personally have a problem with because I love pickleball and I'm constantly on text messages with my friends trying to figure out where's a game I could get into, or we need a person to fill the slot. Here, for example, oh, there's a game. There's 3 spots open. I'm like, I'm in, right? So geographically, I set up my profile. I put in the information about me, right? Look how easy and nice and mobile friendly this is. This is all just using the MinuteLaunch system. Under the hood are other capabilities, but just as a mobile app. When I'm looking for players, I can search for through the list of people in the social network. This is open to the public to join. Just register for free. People who want to use the I need a player option will pay $97 a year. A year, that's it, which is like saving you the cost of 2 times cancellation fee. If I want to add somebody to my crew, I can add people. So I have my crew, my cohort, people that are like my favorites. But I also have people who have identified themselves that are new people I've never met, which is a great social thing of, hey, they're possibly available to play. And so if I needed to, if I wanted to set up a game, I can go ahead and just say, listen, I need to find players. I need 2 players for this day at this location. And it essentially uses AI to go and find matches. It invites those people who would potentially match. And then the first people in, it gives me our ability to say yay or nay if I want, or automatically matches. And it says, here you go, you're in. Show the F up, right? Now, it keeps track of my past games. It's got the calendar of other things that I've scheduled, including it zooms in, as you saw. It's got the capability for me to do this neat thing, which is, let's say I just want to text my friends. I go to my crew or whatever, but let's say these folks are in my crew, right? David and Jennifer and whatever. I just can automatically send a text, and I just use the regular phone capability. I noticed, by the way, the background on here is a little whacked, but if I just choose the club location, let's say I pick that and the date, I can go ahead and use the built-in text messaging. In this case, I'm not on my iPhone, I'm on PC. So it opens up, you can't see it because the modal, it opens up my iPhone text link, my phone link. So all of these things are an example of a personal passion of mine, but combined with one of you guys, you bring the idea, you bring the audience, you bring somebody who needs something done of your clients, your customers, Lloyd, your industry, okay? Bring him into the meeting. There's somebody floating around here, Sandy, who I haven't seen in a while. Oh, for God's sake, Sandy, we've been talking about this for 6 months. You work for an industry and you know exactly what I'm saying. Like, this is going to come out from Spence either way. Just bring those guys that you were talking about forever, bring them into a meeting and I'll show them what we can already do. So I can collaborate with you. John, of course. Okay, here's an interesting personal one. And I promised toys. I'm going to also show the new toys at the end. I don't want to show my dating app directly because I'm actually going out with some of these women, and I think that would be a violation of their privacy. But I am going to show you a simulation of something. Now, it's not a secret that I date. I mean, I'm very pleased in that situation, and I have very nice friends and people that I've met. So I'm going to show you this new thing, and I got to show it to you this way. I made just a simulation because many of you might not actually know what the hell I'm talking about. There's apps that exist today. This is all made up stuff, so I don't have to worry about it. There's apps that exist today like Bumble and Hinge and Tinder, and there's lots of others. You can get off track with all the weird esoteric ones. But things for mainstream dating, you know, like Tinder or Bumble or Match or something like that, these all exist. But if you also think in terms of business, isn't it true that all of us at some point, like even for medical stuff, could use an expert, right? So for example, let's say I was, teach me about what magnesium supplements to use. So this applies not just to dating, but like, let's say people use today's tools. There's ChatGPT and all the special. I can start looking for magnesium. But imagine if I had a wingman. Imagine if I had a Chrome extension that could pop out and could see what's in the screen or work with me, but it was embodied with the specific and expert knowledge of a human being. Spencer Foreman, your supplement expert. I am not an expert in supplements. Let's say you were doing here's a better example, right? What WordPress software should I use for my, I don't know, accounting business? Okay, this is a better example. Imagine, let me set this up now. Imagine you're like, oh man, I'm looking for what software to use. Now, of course, you can call Spence and have a chat with Spence, or you can go to Spence's coursework, or you can read Spencer's blog post, or you can go, like I have a million published things. But short of having a call with Spence, what's the coolest alternative? What if there was a Chrome extension or a mobile app that was based on a website that allowed you to instantly have all of Spence's knowledge? And I'm just going to pull something up here. Forget who this, let's pull up somebody who's, I'm going to pull up this fake profile so I don't out any girls that I was testing this on for real. Let's say you had an expert that had all of Spence's knowledge, all of Spence's expertise, all of Spence's experiences, his opinions, everything, at some point, even his voice, if you wanted. And Spence could be your wingman, not dissimilar to what Chrome does, but this is not generic anymore. This is specifically Spence able to help you understand what to do and why to do it, right? Now, this is ridiculous because this isn't set up for this, but on the right side, I'm showing you the name of my product is Cyrano, Cyrano de Bergerac. If we go ahead and we typed into here something about accounting, this would be ridiculous, but I need you to help me figure out what's the best accounting software to use for my WordPress business. He's going to give a weird answer if he gives anything at all, because he's designed to give dating advice. But the point would be, that would be the kind of stuff to do. And then I'll show you a tool today that I'm going to release called MinuteLaunch Research, that I could also take the pages or the links and put it in. But this is going to allow me in the dating realm as a starting point to help dudes or women or non-binary people figure out how to interact in their relationship building with the advice of an expert so that they could say and do better. Okay. Now, I don't want to out anybody, so that's why I'm being very cautious. But if I were to, let me see if I can take that page. I built a sample page here. I think I had it here actually. I'm sorry, I lost the page. I have to find the page again. Spence has got too many things open. Here. Okay. So imagining I took this thing, if I was on the application and I use this tool as a sidebar, I can actually click on a profile and it will grab the profile information, fill it out. I'll show you a couple of these because some of these are old enough for the never. It takes in the person's name. It grabs their profile. It grabs the entire chat. It lets me set the goal of how do I want to interact? Am I going to be warm or flirty or witty? Is the person speaking in another language? Like, for example, do they speak Spanish? Well, it'll automatically cross-translate the messages. I don't want to belabor this, but like you can see red and blue, right? I'm going to hide that just because I'm trying to be discreet. If I wanted to look at their pictures, the pictures are already there. Okay, sorry, I'm doing it real quick. So that's a real person. But the point is, I have everything I need for the help to be given to me, including a log of all the interactions and the choices that I made. So if I ask it's what is next, right? What should I do now? Okay. And I'm on the person's real profile. When I click the button, it actually gives me choices like do this, that, or the other. And if I pick one of those choices, it automatically takes it and puts it into the profile. Okay. This is actually a mobile app. It actually runs as a business model inside of, like we were talking about, I've got the similar dashboard components, not yet built here, but I've got the components where, for example, this is going to run as an app that will work with anything. So I can actually have it where I am on some other site and I can have this web app running in WordPress that I have on my phone, and I go to my phone and whether it's for dating or business advice, I just screenshot something. I drop the screenshot in and it will translate whatever is on the screen either into an image or into adding it to the conversation. And when it adds it to the conversation, then from that point on, everything else can be with the help of what's my next move. And this is to me an example of, what should I say now? This is an example of how these applications will also hit the road for other things outside of what we've been talking about today, which is, imagine you've got the tools in a WordPress site that can have one or more clients. So you can have literally thousands upon thousands of people using it. Each one of them has their own ability to use the tool on a desktop in a Chrome extension or use it on their phone as a mobile browser. If the things that you give them are embodied with the expertise of one or more human beings, Now they've got a tool that is super, super, super valuable, mobile friendly, and you have a two-sided marketplace. One of our friends here in the community is doing plus size women's clothing. Imagine very easily, not only for recommendations and advice, but imagine very easily if you have a situation where you can have clothes recommended from a vendor, and a person who has their own body shape and type can have in the app the ability to get expertise about what it is that looks good on them. And I'm going to show you some of those toys in a second. Lloyd's asking, this is basically a custom LLM that you can purpose for any industry service business that comes with. Yeah, Lloyd, I've got a job waiting for you. Exactly. It's not a custom LLM per se, because you can use any of the tools. In fact, what I built into all of these dashboards, you'll notice, and I'm going to show you specifically, is I built in the ability to choose whichever LLM fits the job. So for example, if I go to this Cyrano, I actually made it so that the LLMs being used are the cheapest ones possible. I'm going to go to this interface, and if you go to settings, you'll see here, look at the choices that I gave it. DeepSeek, free. Llama, free. DeepSeek 3.2, 1/1000th of a penny. Here's why. Yes, you could do Opus if you wanted for 12 cents. But the point is, we do not need high-end processing power to do stuff like give dating advice or researching it from the standpoint of context. This is an amazing lever because things like having an assistant in the site could be virtually free, which means that I can release, let's say with this Pickleball thing or the dating app, I can release a one-time a year or one-time period version of this that's a Chrome extension or a mobile app that essentially a person brings their own key. Just go to Open Router, get a key for free, and you're done. Or just use the free model per se, like DeepSeek, I don't even need a key. And so you'll notice, like here, Open Router key. I can give somebody the capacity to do some amazing stuff. They pay me once, it runs on their desktop, and that's the end of that. So yes, you get the idea. Let's do some new toys that Spence is bringing for Dr. John Lawler. No, you're not a doctor. Okay, so here is something that I want to talk about. MinuteLaunch Remodeler. I want to talk about MinuteLaunch Research. I also want to update on SimpleSite and the AI assistants, because that's going to be my project this weekend. But let's start with the fun stuff. MinuteLaunch Research. Uncle Spence, the evil genius, has had a constant problem. I am constantly doing research like, oh, here is this amazing update on Claude Opus 4.6. What have I been doing to date is I would grab the URL and then I would go to Slack. I don't know if you guys use Slack, but Slack is a communication tool, not really designed for being a bookmark tool. But because I'm lazy and I already use it for other stuff, I have I don't know what they call it, a group in there for I'm the only guy in my company. I have a group in there called Discoveries, and I just dump my shit in there. And then later, sometimes I'll come back and I'll be able to find it, but not usually. But the reason I do that is because I got sick of the fact that whether I'm on my mobile or my desktop or my laptop, bookmarks are horrific. I have bookmarks. I never use bookmarks. I can't figure out how to make bookmarks work for me because I always end up doing a gajillion bookmarks. Look at can you see my bookmarks? Let's see. I hate that this doesn't show this, but I'm just clicking on my bookmarks thing. And if I showed my bookmarks bar, you can see I've got a jillion bookmarks in here, okay? I even hide it because it's just pointless. So let me turn this off to hide bookmarks bar. What I did instead was I built MinuteLaunch Research. Now, this is something that in the early days of our endeavor, I was going to do, but I came up with some tools that are used from that Cyrano product, Cyrano. Wouldn't it be neat if you had a URL that you could save using iPhone or Android's capability of turning that into an instant share link? And what I mean by that is If I were to go to any page in my mobile device and I hit share, I'm going to see if you guys can see this. Hold on. You see, this is what my screen looks like. And you see where it says more, where my finger is over here. If I click more, I have all these options. One of the options I'm able to do instantly is to, at the bottom here, it says edit actions. I can make custom links, custom actions. It's pretty freaking cool, to be honest with you. So what can I do? I can take a website that is designed for myself or thousands of people, and I can create a custom capture. You can't see that very well, but I can create a custom capture hexadecimal code for any particular person. Now, this is my own site, so this is just for me. But that means that all I need is just a URL. And if I use the URL and I save it as a custom link like this, what happens is I am instantly able to use that as a Dropbox from anywhere. I know this is getting a little geeky, but what that means is I can now go on mobile or desktop to anywhere. I can grab an image. I can grab a voice message, a video, a text. I go over to the tool and if I'm mobile, I'm just click the share now, or I use the tool here that has a front end quick capture. Here's the quick capture screen on desktop. And either I drop the thing in like a file, a PDF, audio, images, or I put the bookmark in. Now, if I want, I could tell it why it's interesting. I'm super excited about this because it's Opus 4.6. It does so much. But even if I don't do anything, the AI will take what I've given it, interpret it, and bring it in so that it is now part of Spence's library. Well, what the hell does that mean? Well, when I come back, I've now got a dynamic library that has AI management. And there's some features on this that I'm actually about to update that I didn't update from last night. I don't want to do this live on the show because I'm going to release this weekend. That will take all of this stuff and it will refine it and do two things. One, it will give me an automatic AI summary and a bookmark. Two, it is actually going to take the content out, scrape the content out. So I will now have at my disposal for me and my dudes all of the relevant information about that image, that video, that file, that website, and then using either the manual tools or using the AI tools, I will be able to do whatever I want to do with that in the future, right? So for example, if I had a quick capture, okay, here's an actual image. This is in my media library. I can now do anything I want with that using the other tools like our AI image editor. You see what I mean? So it allows me to have a personal repository that I can see, save, share, use, have my dudes access. Let's actually show you how Spence does his process. I updated this plugin last night, but then I went to bed. This is on my demo site. Normally I would use the update through the MinuteLaunch plugin manager, but I'm going to actually see if the update took because I asked it to do a couple new things and we're rounding up the hour anyway. So let's see if he's got the new version of this. Notice when I work on these things, I have my tools here, MinuteLaunch Researcher. Let's do releases. And I don't know if it's 220. Yeah, this is like, look what it is, 12:07 a.m. version 3.0. Cross your fingers. Cross your fingers. It's exciting for me too. Right, we went from 2.14 to 3.0. And if all goes well, I'll release that today, tomorrow. Okay, here's MinuteLaunch Research tool. I asked it to do some cool things when it came to like all items. And also I'm going to add for myself and you guys, those other features I just shared with you. Oh, look what it did. Already you can see how improved it is, right? So let's go into the focus mode here. Notice it gave me list view, grid view. It added a thumbnail. It added a preview of where it might have been from. it's already got AI search capability, right? As well as faceted search. If I type in and I search by, I have to have it search by a particular name that has that. But if I search by typing or if I have the AI do it. Now, let's see if it did the scraping. If I go to the individual thing, it should have, and it did a pretty good job, but not a great job. Let's do this again. Let's re-enrich this. I asked it to go and scrape out details, like get the AI summary better and put more content in there. Now, what I think I'm going to have it do a little bit is do even better. But notice that I also can revisit the URL. If I click on it, it'll just take me to the article itself. So at the end of the day, not to belabor it, I've got the ability now to sort and filter and find and research and collect. And then all of this information is going to be available to any of my dudes, including the dude that I just mentioned, who is running the site. So I'm going to come back to him in a second, but I'm currently using the MinuteLaunch Simple Site AI beta. Him and his interface, or it and its interface, is really killing it, because this is the thing that you can start to see now, like all of the parts come together, right? All of the things start to come together in a way that over time it's just happened organically. But when you add this with the agentic control, and you add this with now he'll have knowledge to answer questions based upon things that I've researched. Okay. Thank you, Lloyd, by the way. Imagine, I'm going to address your comment in a second, but imagine, just bearing with me because I want to put this on public record. I'm going to come back to you in a second, Lloyd. I've got a dude who everywhere I go, I can bring his shit in and save it. The dude is working in the context of all my knowledge and the stuff that I've acquired, or my software, my documents, my videos, my anything saved to me. But now I can share it out to you in a mobile friendly app or in a Chrome desktop extension, or he can write my schedule. You've already seen that party trick, right? I can do anything as a content creator to make the source of my knowledge. And then Spence has got tools that already can turn that into custom applications, mobile applications, multi-person social network tools, mobile. I mean, hello. I feel sometimes like I'm thrilled, but I also feel sometimes like I'm like the Emperor's New Clothes kid, because I'm like, everybody's got their own view of the world. I'm not criticizing anybody, but like I talk to people who don't even know what the F I'm talking about. And I feel like, what is wrong with you people? But thank you, Lloyd, because Lloyd's expressing, thank you, by the way, for the extra triple, quadruple explanations. You are light years ahead of a particular marketer who hangs with Russell Brunson and changed his entire business because he readily admits he got his ass kicked by Go High Level and shafted. Okay. Go High Level and their team are brilliant. Robin and the team, I mentioned everybody. I was paid by them to help in the WordPress space for a year. But when I have my clients come in and talk about Go High Level, it hurts me. It hurts my heart, because I have to explain what I'm trying to show you guys. And it's really difficult for me to get this across. Like, Lloyd, thank you for your many helps today, including like, this is basically a custom LLM. Well, what I'm doing now is working with real people. And here's the God's honest truth. And John, yes, it can. I'm going to show you what I mean, but it already can import from existing emails. I showed you in the Cyrano app how I can take any piece of content, either copy it and drop it, or I can do a screenshot and drop it, and it will translate it and dump it in. So just put two and two together. Those two tools together is exactly what it does. Yes. But what's been happening that's been the most remarkable, and I think the most productive, is when I have these calls with clients, and I think you guys are part of that, of course. These are clients with real businesses that are doing real world things that are typically 6, 7, sometimes more figure a year businesses. They immediately understand what the value proposition is when I see it. And then as soon as they do the process of me sitting with them and pouring stuff in and watching it being built in front of their eyes, Kathleen and I, in front of her eyes, she started the call with, like, we got a lot to do. And I go, don't worry about it. And she goes, well, okay. And then boom, boom, boom. And next thing you know, it's like, whoa. They go, I've got like 5 other people I know I got to refer you to. 10, 20. And so what I'm trying to prepare for is, yes, it's amazing that there's the high levels and the Russell Brunsons or whatever. But guess what? Spence has got his own version of this built on WordPress, and I may be 2 clicks or 3 clicks ahead of everybody else, but everybody else is going to get here. And this is why I feel like this crazy neurosis almost of, I got to get this done, because the sooner I get out there as being the leader, then guess what? Then I get to be the Alex Hormozy for you guys. I get to wear my tank top and my funny hat and whatever the bullshit is, because I can have $100 million company, but not because I need to be 100 millionaire, but because instead you guys are going to be making millions of dollars. Lloyd, for God's sake, in your industry, come on, dude. You know what I'm talking about. The stuff that we can do right now, taking images, turning them into stuff. And I haven't shown you the MinuteLaunch Remodeler yet. John is asking questions. I want to say happily, yes, 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 of course. Anything. The YouTube videos and the bulk import, that should be already, I mean, you know me well enough to presume that. But like, if you just go here and let's get a YouTube video, I know a guy. Okay, let's go to like sales strategy from last. Let's grab the URL here and test this. Now, if it doesn't work, who the hell cares? I'll fix it. We, by the way, can use the drop screen. I would probably use the drop screen, because back to bookmarking, I feel like most of what I do is on the iPhone. This is some dude I know. Okay, so if I put that in, thank you, John. I appreciate the holy shit. Okay. Captured, YouTube of an acquaintance. Now, when I go back to all items, what it should do and will do, I probably need to fix it. Notice how it generated these other, I think it just has to generate the thumbnail if it doesn't exist for YouTube. So I'll have it do that. Notice I can also change my status on this. I also think that it has to do better with generating the content, because it did sort of a shitty job here on creating the output. And that's not because it's broken. That's because I actually don't think I set up the new tools. If I go into the settings here, notice what I've got. Like with the other ones, MinuteLaunch Research settings, I have the ability to say for the AI librarian, which version do I use? Like, I've never used Llama, but I could use Llama. And I can also give it more brains. It has, by the way, an API and an endpoint, so you can also have it, of course, hit up by your other dudes. But if I use a better AI librarian who automatically classifies titles and tags, I'm going to add a feature that also generates the thumbnail and also does a better job of filling out the scraping. Because what this should do, honestly, is it should go and get all of, well, notice, by the way, sorry, I guess I'm better than I thought. It already did that. But what it should do is it should go and also get the description. Okay. And so what I'll do is, and by the way, look what he did do. It did do a better summary. Oh, here's the scraped content here. Oh, God's sake. You know what? Here's the problem. I build these tools and there's like a serendipity to it. He went and scraped the content. But what it really should do, and I'm going to see if I can get away with that, is this, I guess what he was thinking is this is going to be my content and this is the scraped content. But what I want to do is I'm going to tell him to take that and the scraped content and put it in the middle instead of this thing. This is actually, I think, being used on the front end, though, as what's putting the summary in. I'm pretty sure that's why it's doing it that way, right? It's doing this line here. So in any event, hopefully, though, you're excited about this because, yeah, holy shit. Like right now, I've got a tool that's going to build an infinite library of stuff in addition to what I already build from the AI tools, from the MinuteLaunch Coach, right? The coach working with anybody directly from all my lessons and coursework. Okay, one last one. I want to go to the MinuteLaunch Remodeler. The MinuteLaunch Remodeler is an example that for me is in the industries I'm familiar with, real estate and so forth. But this is a global tool. Why is it a global tool? We just talked about whether you have a hair salon and you have clients, they want to see the before and after of what happens if I change my hair, change my makeup, my manicure, my pedicure, my liposuction, or clothing, right? Like here's my body shape, but like get rid of my face, just know my body shape and size and my features. I want to try on clothing. Real estate. I'm a real estate broker and I want to show my client what we need to do to sell the house. Or I'm a contractor. I want to show you what it's like if we remodel your house or redo your roof. What if we combined, as I have, a tool that now I can sell this for nothing or anything to thousands of contractors using the same site because of what I described to you. I can do the landing pages for them, and the landing pages, unlimited layouts, unlimited designs, works directly as a lead generator to the site itself with its own capability, or to your Fluent CRM, or both. So when a lead comes in, I've got that person automatically just in this app alone as a lead. You do not need Fluent CRM, but this gives the information they shared, the project details they want done, the public results page, the imagery, the ability to regenerate it and further customize it, change orders, all of the details in JSON format. And when I look at the actual preview of this form, when somebody submitted it, here's what they see. I just used my own weird brand and logo at the top here. Your dining room remodelization. Okay. Here's your before and after with the slider. By the way, I'll show you, you can have multiple pictures. They can then say, yes, I love this, or no, change some stuff. And all they got to do is say, I really wish you'd make it look like Star Wars. Okay. When they send that to me, that goes back to me. And guess where it notifies me of that? It notifies me of that here on my mobile phone. Oh, Spence just said he loved the design, but he wants it to look like Star Wars. Okay. For the client, the things that they have can be continually updated and sent to them. So if I go back here and I look at the leads again, the entire interaction with that client is going to be memorialized, right? Here's the country kitchen. Now I want it to look like Star Wars. Now it's up to me if I want to, screw it. I just wish it looks like Star Wars. Generate a new one for this customer. I make it the discretion of the contractor whether to keep generating new images, so that, you know, there's like potential for fun or abuse either way. But let me show you some examples for other industries. But before, actually, well, let me show you one other thing. One of the things that's amazing about this is I made it fully capable of being customized so that you can have unlimited landing pages. The custom landing page builder also has a custom results page. This makes it super easy to just pick a standard layout, a minimal layout, a hero layout, a split layout. You can include all these different options. You can do your own branding, your own custom fields, your own stats on how this is working versus that, A/B testing. Same thing for multi-room upload. I can have it that you can do 3, 5, 6, 10 images. You can have it where you have it in global view, slider view, side by side, stack, tab, toggle, gallery. All of these things allow you to create instantly a custom sales and landing page. And if you use this particular thing, the client gets an experience like this. Here's my, I'll just do a new one for you. With the new uploader from the phone or otherwise, I'll just put in my dining room again. Okay. I say dining room, right? And I can even choose if I want specific things. I could say, I would like this to look like a modern New York kitchen, but circa 1973 avocado. Lloyd, this is what's amazing. Front yards, backyards, roof, automobiles, RVs, hair, makeup. This is my point. My point is, I take the same tools. You come up with a business model that has clients. Hair salons, by the way, I'm going to show you in a second. All of a sudden, now combine all the things I just showed you today. Hair salon using a bunch of lunatic tools. Who knows what they're managing? Clients, marketing automation, emails, newsletters. But now you give them a tool that on an iPad, or an iPhone, take a picture of the client, and then it gives you, tell me what kind of hairstyles you like. It makes 4 versions for him or her. Pick this, pick that. I'm going to show you. Make my hair this way. Make my makeup this way. Put on glasses. I want that. And then it instantly gives it a cost structure and a price. Puts a package together. Click here to pay. Done. Like while you're sitting in the chair. Think about this for contractors in certain industries, Lloyd, that you know about. Okay. So I could add another room. I could do 2 for the price of 1, which is awesome, right? So I think I had I don't know if I have another picture of something. Let's see. I think I put it in the downloads here. I put it in the desktop. House. I don't know what this house is. Okay. House. And other. And I'll say, I'd like you to also give me a quote for painting my house bright green. Okay. Next step. And I say, my budget is whatever I think it should be. Listen, I've had a bad time with contractors. I hope you're not an asshole. Whatever they want to say. Okay. And you go, Tom, I'll just type this. Tom, test 15, Tom at test 15 or 15.com. Okay. My phone number, of course, so you can get back to me right now. Get my free visualization. Now, it takes them to whatever you want them to see. They can go to the landing page and wait, or we have this pre-baked, just choose some simple things and it gives beautifully formatted mobile or otherwise. What happens on the back end is that it comes in instantly as a lead, and you can see it right here. It's processing those images, right? Takes maybe 30 seconds to 2 minutes, like 30 seconds a piece. But in the meantime, it also will send this person, if I wanted to, and I think I set this up, to Fluent CRM. So here's Tom tests, main list, remodeling lead, form submissions. But this isn't turned on, but it'll have all of the form submissions here as well. It will also have in notes and activities, it'll have the images. So what's going to happen is, I just didn't turn that on. Everything that they did will also be synchronized in the CRM. Okay, so let's take a look and see if the images are done. They might take a minute. Again, I'm going to give it a minute because I want to show you how this works. When it's done, what's going to happen is Tom is going to be given a link to say, Tom, your images are done and whatever. Now, I could call him, but first what's going to happen is I'm going to send him this thing, either hopefully email or text or whatever. That's why I think I'll probably just send him to the page, and he's going to end up on a page like this. Okay. This is going to have everything I want to say about this, including if I wanted, let's use the other tools I talked about. I already said I've got all my expertise available. I've already shown you I can have the AI use my expertise. I can have it talk to him directly. I could also AI enable this page so Tom can ask me a bunch of questions, or I could just have him call me, whichever way. But you see all of these parts come together and they're all working now, and they all work with the tools that we've got under the hood. There's a WordPress box for one or many. There is all of the AI integration. There is all of the logic of the core tools. There's the mobile interface. Here we go. I'm excited. One of the images is done. The other one will be done in a second. And so what happens is we have everything we need to build custom systems that used to cost thousands or hundreds of thousands of dollars. We can do that now instantly and use the very same tools for marketing we've been using forever. I'm waiting till the last one comes out. The one thing that's interesting, and this isn't a problem, but let's say it takes 2 minutes for this. What I think I would probably do is give them a notice that's like a generic preview of something and say, in 6 minutes, you'll get this thing, because then it'll set their expectation. And here's Tom's result, right? With my brand at the top, MinuteLaunch $. Your remodeling visualization, right? The slider is awesome. I love the slider. Okay, because I set it up so that the images would actually stay pinned together. Here's my house. Dude, right? Like, I don't have to think about what this is going to look like. And now, you know, big button, it says email me or call me or do whatever. Okay. You guys are great. It's 11:21. I have to eat lunch. My stomach says so. Okay. Marie Kondo says, I am going to continue to take all of these things. I don't need to build infinitely, but you can tell I'm like a madman here. I'm going to perfect the simple site AI agent, the Claw AI agent, the interface, because I've been building. There was one other thing I got to just show you. I'll just show you. There's one other thing I was building that I'm still in the process of perfecting this because it just requires so much interaction. Simple site builder is still there. He's probably slightly broken, but notice what I did on the recommendation of a client. I took the toggle thing that was driving everybody crazy. It was a good idea at the time. And I turned it into a tab model. This is still the old interface. And so you got 3 tabs: set up the site, work with the dude who can pop out, by the way, or the blocks. The blocks in the site setup are going to stay. The dude is not going to stay looking like this, and he may not even stay in this spot. He is ultimately going to become this guy, and this guy with the notifications and everything else and all this inline stuff like you're seeing, this is going to be obviously the metaphor. This is going to be the use case, because this guy is what works best for all use cases. And if you think about it, this is a model we're already using today for a variety of things. Like, I can use this guy to make anything, inline code or whatever. So if I said to him even today, demonstrate a hello world, HTML5 and CSS and do it inline. Okay. This guy, if he builds stuff for me, a plugin or HTML, I would rather that the people who are using this have it show inline and it's available as a block. And as a result of this, let me actually make this bigger. As a result of this, see, I've got these buttons. I can just expand this out in my phone, and I've got a really awesome, simple interface. I can save this right here. Hello world. I'll make a funny pun. Hello world. I could save this now, and it's available for me to use just as fast as that when I come back, because now I go here and I go to my blocks and I've got hello world. And you see what I'm saying? Like, so this guy is a metaphor, along with the notifications, along with the AI generation, along with the other tools, like this is the one that's going to win, because he's both desktop, mobile friendly. He goes both portrait and landscape mode. It just works. So I need to get these guys consolidated. That's my whole point is, if I can this weekend get all these tools consolidated. I've already started selling customers that instantly go on $5,000 plus 197. I know you guys will too. I think that's the ultimate proof of the pudding. If you've not joined VIP, beg, borrow, steal, get with me on VIP. Let's find a customer base you already have access to. Let's just build one of these things. You'll sell into it. You instantly got yourself $2,400 a year just on that revenue, plus probably $510, whatever they'll pay for the custom applications, and rinse and repeat, whether it's a business you run or those of the clients. I love you guys. Thank you for spending the time today. That was a long session. I had a lot to share. I'm going to probably stay in all weekend working on this stuff. So expect the release of the MinuteLaunch Remodeler, the MinuteLaunch Research tool, some version of Cyrano, but Cyrano for things in addition to dating, and more. I'll see you on the next one. Ciao.